can hit the record button. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me for a new season of Sentimentally Speaking. You see the red is popping on both sides. I got two beautiful people sitting here with me, and today we are representing Black love like no other. I am going to go ahead and let my special guests introduce themselves.
Hello.
Me first. Hello, Bobbie Alexander.
Michael Alexander, better known as Beauty and the Beast or Beast and Mrs. Beast.
Okay. So how did, first of all, I want to start there. How did you come up with the concept Beauty and the Beast? From my understanding, your Instagram, that was your wedding theme.
Yes, that's our
How did
that's
that
our
come
life
about?
theme.
Because I love
That's
it.
our couple style.
Yeah, as you see the sign behind us, you see our forever roses around us. I'm not sure if y'all can see the table mat, but that's a Beauty and the Beast poster puzzle
that we put together.
So yeah, we actually put the Beauty and the Beast puzzle together on Valentine's Day. But to answer your question, where does it come from? So based on my aggressive basketball style, my nickname has been Beast for years. Once we came back together, I think her love and enthusiasm for Disney, especially Disney princesses, kind of just made it all make sense. And it kind of developed itself on its own, and we kind of just accepted it, embraced it. And as you can see, like you said, our wedding was Beauty and the Beast theme.
Yep. And that's probably
Love it.
That's probably my favorite Disney princess movie. So it worked. It all came together.
It worked. So it almost like was destiny, right? Because you can't make this stuff up. You can't meet a woman as beautiful as Bobbie, and you're meeting a guy who goes according to the name Beast, and Beauty and the Beast being your favorite Disney movie. Like I look at stuff like that, like it's fate. It was destined. You know what I'm saying? So, from my understanding, you guys have known each other for a while, going back to high school. You dated on and off, but recently you got married. Did you just celebrate your 1 year anniversary?
Yes.
Okay. How long were you in a committed, exclusive relationship before the proposal?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Okay, 8 years. And then how long from the proposal to the marriage?
2, but it was intentional. It wasn't like we had a very specific date, and we waited an extra year for that date to fall on the day that made sense. Like I think the year before it was on a Thursday.
So we got married. We got engaged in 2021 on my 40th birthday. He proposed. So we had, in my mind, I had always knew that if we got married, I wanted it to be June 30th because that was the date that we officially got back together. So I'm like, that'll give us one anniversary. It'll be easy to remember. Like keep it simple. So in 2022, it fell on a Thursday. 2023, it fell on a Friday. I would have been willing to wait for the Saturday, but the next year was a Sunday. So we're like, all right, 2023 it is. That's when we get married.
So. Okay. All right. So for 8 years, right? Y'all were just dating. Was there ever talk of marriage within that time frame?
No.
Time out. Discussions were had. And we came to an agreement that we were all the way okay with our union, and we didn't need that paperwork or none of that to solidify what we had. We was all the way okay.
This is my second marriage.
Yes.
So I've been married before. I had already been married, had a big wedding. It didn't work out. That was probably a low point in my life. Him being the high point in my life. I'm like, if I never do that again, I'm okay. Like a lot of women just want the wedding. They want the dress. I had all that. I had a big, beautiful wedding. It was what it was. I was perfectly content with what we had. And after going through what I went through in my first relationship, that made me feel like a marriage doesn't mean that you're going to be together forever. So I didn't need that. All I needed was for us to be committed to each other, and I was okay with that. And he had already made it clear that he didn't want to be married. So
for me, I came from a place of feeling unwanted by even like family members at times. So I never thought in my wildest dreams nobody would want me forever. So marriage wasn't even something fathomable to me and for me. So I was okay when she said she was okay with not getting married. It was like, whoo, cool, because I wasn't even thinking about it. You know what I mean? We good how we good, because also in my past, like I've slept with married women, So what did that? So what do it really mean? So it didn't solidify nothing. If y'all not solid, y'all not solid. No matter what titles, rings, vows, none of that's gonna matter if y'all not solid. So that didn't mean as much to me.
I'm digging that because right. So now y'all together.
Yeah.
Y'all in this relationship. The beauty doesn't care to be married. The beast is like, I'm good. I done been a part of marriages without being married. And that really ain't gonna make or break us. We good. At
Yeah.
what point did Bobbie and Michael say, let's do this Beauty and the Beast thing and make it a fairy tale for us?
She can't answer this because she has no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you can put
So
that
the
on
answer
him.
lies with the beast?
Yup. Honestly, other things made it make sense. You know, like I said, for us, I knew we was in a place where we didn't need that. But her job is a job where ultimately she puts her life on the line as a New York State trooper every day, and anything can happen. And I'm gonna tear something up if they try to tell me it's a room I can't get into and she in there, but because I'm just a boyfriend. Also, we started to talk about things like buying a house, our kids getting older and going in different directions, and just trying to make sure that they have a solidified ground in case something happens to either one of us. So it was things like that more than trying to solidify us. We was good, but those type of things made me say, you know what? For the world, I understand that our last name being the same makes a difference to the rest of the world. So that's really where it came from for me. That's what like pushed me over the edge. But in doing that, I found out that low key there was a part of her that wanted to marry me.
Please.
So I mean, I think as our relationship progressed and time went on, I did become more open to it because I one like when we first got together, I was absolutely close to it. I was off marriage. I was done with marriage. I had a bad experience and I was kind of traumatized from it. So I was 100% off of it. But then, it's kind of like when you know. Like I kind of knew that I was with someone in a space that I could let myself go. If we ever decided to let ourselves go, I could do that and I would be okay with it. And like I wasn't, you know what I mean? It was almost like I would jump. For him, I would jump. I guess that's kind of how I put it. But I had already assured him that I was good with not being married. So I never would have spoke on it. But I had definitely come to a place where I knew that I would have been okay with it. Like,
and for me, you would have a hard time in those 8 years. You would have a hard time catching me calling her my girlfriend. Like I address her as my wife all the time. Like to everybody, I correct people like, nah, that's my wife. We don't need your titles. We don't need your paperwork. I'm telling you what it is because that's how I carry it.
So y'all already knew the love was real between y'all. And it wasn't like y'all needed to put on a show for the public. It was more or less in the eyes of the law. I'm just a boyfriend until I make this official. We talking life insurance, we talking property, we talking assets, we talking all of that. I want to circle back and ask a question about that, but go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
Nope.
No, even like driving her car. You feel what I'm saying? It's a different conversation if I happen to get pulled over and no, this is my wife's car and this is my girlfriend car. This is my girlfriend car. Come with all kind of other. Well, y'all still together? How long y'all been? This is my wife's car. You can see the last names match. What we doing here? Like it's just everything get different. Like everything.
Respectability to being married. It's a respectability to that for sure. Bobbie, a woman who has been married before, you walked into this relationship like I don't need to be married again. How did you feel being referenced as a wife, knowing you weren't a legal wife? And did you ever feel like I'm gonna call him my husband, but he's really not my husband, even though I don't need him to be my husband? Like, how do you personally feel about that terminology being used when it's not official?
Like he did it like at first it was a little jarring. He did it so much that it just became second nature. I don't know if I said it as much as he said it, but we kind of run in different circles. You know what I mean? Like when I'm at work with these professional people, wife means wife and husband means husband. There ain't no street love. Like they don't get
Yeah.
it, and I'm not explaining it. So you know what I mean? Like it kind of was like it was like this is my boyfriend. Like you know what I mean? Like so
And it used to feel like a punch in the stomach.
when I would say boyfriend,
Yeah.
yeah.
Cause
So,
it's like
The whole time.
no. It's like one of those situations where you messing with a girl and y'all been messing with each other for a minute, and she introduced you to her friends or her parents as your friend. Like, oh, this is my friend.
yeah, like
Friend?
even at
Right,
home, I'm not going home and being like, "Hey, grandma, it's my husband." She's not gonna understand that. That's not like I like. You know what I mean? So we kind of ran in different circles with different expectations, and it wasn't that I didn't love him enough to call him. It was just, it was just.
Yeah, and I understood
it was just a lot. It was just different. So
yeah, and for me being more hood oriented, I know that in certain terms, like people don't really respect your union when you seeing your girlfriend or wifey, because dudes say that all the time and do all kind of dastardly things to the person that they call that. So I'm like, nah, I need to let them know exactly where I hold this union in my heart. This is my wife, and that's how, you feel what I'm saying? So when you speak about her, talk with that type of respect. When you get around me, don't care to hear about your other chicks or shorty got a fatty and all of that. Miss me with all of that because I got a wife. So even the way my friends talk to me is different because of how I respect my lady.
I love that. So it sounds like to me, Michael, right? Side of just wanting the respectability in the eyes of the law and wanting to solidify it for I guess legal purposes, you really knew in your heart that this was your woman, that
Yeah,
this is the woman I love, and she's getting the wife title, even
yeah,
though you thought you didn't want to have a wife.
yeah,
You you made that official.
yeah.
You made that official. I love that. I want to circle back to the assets and life insurance and stuff like that. To bring up the fact that Bobby, you've been in the professional realm, a state trooper, legal, criminal justice, right, for a long time to the point where you could retire soon. Um, Michael, you just referenced yourself as the hood guy. You hung out with certain people, certain street code, maybe. Did that ever cause friction with y'all, or Bobby? Did you ever feel like you had to hide who your man was or what he does because of that lifestyle? Or were you like, love reigns all? We're not going to worry about that, professional or not?
no, because like I always knew exactly who I was getting and what I was dealing with. And when he says
Yeah,
he's a street guy, he's from the streets. Like he's rough around the edges. He's, you know, definitely not corporate, definitely none of that. But
I'm not
he
hustling.
absolutely, and
I'm not out here
just
juggling.
out of respect, like he like and from the moment we got together, he was very respectful of my profession.
Yeah,
So even if there were times where he probably would have done things and ran in certain circles, I believe that he
yeah. I'm chilling.
intentionally
Facts.
removed himself and like didn't do anything that he felt like would compromise like what I had going
Yeah,
on.
like the worst I did is smoke weed. Like I'm smoking weed outside.
Yeah.
That was the worst I did. Everything else in my head, I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that because it's gonna embarrass her if it ever come on. So no, I was definitely moving in a manner that respected what she had going on once I came back here to Albany.
Love it. And I had to circle back to that, right? Because I'm sure viewers will look at that and be like, whoa, those are polar opposites. At what point could her profession have been compromised by
Yeah,
his
no, I
lifestyle,
wasn't.
whatever? But you had the respectability, you had the wherewithal, just had the mindset that I'm not gonna run like this because this is what my lady have going on, and that's important to her.
But like you said, not to cut you off,
No.
um, I don't really know if it would have been that if I would have just met, like, let's say I met and bagged a state trooper. I think that's a different situation than me having this off and on relationship with this young lady, and in the midst of that, she becomes a state trooper. You know what I mean? So I tell people all the time, like, I didn't bag a state trooper. Like the state troopers bagged my chick.
Okay,
So
yeah, you
so
bagged
my
Bobbie,
respect for her was
who
already
happened to
there.
become a state trooper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Okay, I like it. How do you guys feel about, because Bobbie, it sounds like off rip, you already got into a lifestyle where you're thinking of life insurance, you're thinking of 401ks, we got retirements, we got assets and things like that. You have been married. And that was something you were looking forward to. I know for us, we don't come from like super wealthy backgrounds where like prenups and things are necessary for us. But for me, I'm gonna speak for myself because y'all might actually come from money. But how do y'all just feel about prenuptials, period? Just as a couple who's supposed to be about the love. Is that something? Because I think of like Todd and Candies of the world, and we all know them. And that was a big deal for their union. How do y'all feel about asset sharing, and if something happens, what's left to your spouse? Or is it like, if I'm super rich and you come in and you don't have it, and I want to protect what I have because, Bobbie, we've been married before and it didn't work out. So God forbid if this doesn't, what does that look like for me moving forward?
First, my stance on it, I think, is an individual decision, and I respect a couple sitting and talking about it and coming up to whatever works best for them and whatever is most comfortable for them. For us, like you said, you just alluded to, and you're right on. The money she makes in her career, I can't even touch that. Like, she makes way more money than I could ever make. So that would have to be a decision on her. That would have to be something she would have to answer from her perspective. Like, if we get divorced right now, you got to pay me alimony.
Yeah, okay. So, you know what? And it's so I've done it twice. And the first time, it wasn't necessarily an amicable split. It could have went bad. It just so happened it kind of worked in my favor that we weren't married very long. So we were able to kind of split. I still kind of took a loss. Like, I still took the hit, but it could have been way worse. So, you know, I was okay with all of that. So then moving forward, now I'm getting married again. And it's just not a worry. It's just not like, it's just not a worry with him. I don't know. Yeah, I just
All right,
like,
I'm saying I don't
radar.
know. Hold on. I'm saying I don't know, but regularly, I'm probably one of the least materialistic. Like, I don't care about no money. Like, I was too successful with making friends, creating circles, finding women that love me. Like, I was too successful at creating and building solid relationships with people that I still have relationships today with when I was dead broke. So you can't really convince me money mean that much. Like, I really don't like, yeah, like, money ain't my motivation. It ain't what get me up in the day. So yeah, I could care less about her money. She would probably be trying, like, she probably tries to give me more than I want. Like she would give me more if I wanted it. I'm I'm good.
Yeah, he's very
Like, I'm
overly
very
simple.
minimal,
He's very minimalist. He's
survival. Like, what do I
Yeah,
need to survive? After that, we being extra.
would be
I
an
might be a little.
extra.
I'm a little extra. He's minimalist. I think we kind of balance each other
Yeah.
out in that respect.
Like,
For
I'm okay if
sure.
we never travel. Meanwhile, we go on a cruise every year because 4 o'clock in the morning she see a good deal. That's her. Like,
Do you go because
I
your
need
wife want to go?
I need to
absolutely.
travel.
Absolutely. That's her thing.
I
That's one of the
love
things
it.
she
I
like
love,
to
because
do.
that's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
Not always doing what you do or don't want to do, but
Yeah.
also doing what your significant other
Oh,
wants to
and I
do to
do
keep
all
them
the
happy.
things he wants to do.
Yes.
So
Anything I like, she had come to my hood in Queens and just sit in the park while I'm shooting the shit with my guys. Right? But I'll go to Washington Park to watch the Little Mermaid play.
Love it. I love it. Beast or Michael, at any point, right? Because you mentioned that something popped up on my screen. Sorry. You mentioned that your wife makes way more than you will touch, in your
Yes.
words. Has that ever made you feel inferior as a man? Because we hear all this, men are supposed to be the providers, they're supposed to be the protectors, splitting 50-50, who pays the bills. Does that even matter to you?
No, but I understand why it matters to others.
Mm.
Right? The reason it doesn't matter to me is because just off of how I move and carry myself, I have 2 cities of grown men calling me beast. Right? So that I'm well respected. So maybe if I was less respected and I was out here looking for that respect or fighting for that respect, and now my wife make more money than me, so that's one more reason for y'all not to respect me. Maybe if I was out here like climbing for that respect, it would bother me. But because like I said, dead broke, two pennies to rub together, I'm well respected everywhere I go. So nah, it don't make me feel
Okay.
no type of way at
Never
all.
felt fear.
Nope.
Thank you for answering that. I appreciate that. Bobbie, at any point did you feel some type of way as a woman? Like, I want my man to be able to take care of me and provide for me. Or were you looking for something else? So that
Um,
didn't matter.
I guess I was looking for something else. Um, and he does take care of me, and he does
Talk
provide for
about it.
me, and he does the things that I need. You know what I mean? Like, let's be clear. I probably wouldn't have any hair on my head if I didn't have him washing it and blowing it and growing. Like, I don't do that. I don't do hair. I don't do like he takes care of me. You know what I mean? When I come home at night, he absolutely is gonna rub my feet. He's definitely the cook in the relationship. Like,
Look, I dated a couple of beauticians, so I know a little bit about
yeah,
hair. Like
no,
everything, yo. It's funny. I put up a post a few years ago, and it was a post thanking all my exes because every single thing I learned from them, I can apply in this relationship.
Oh,
So I thank
I
them.
love that. I love that. And y'all are truly the epitome of basically what we don't hear about on social media. The
yeah.
fact that you're being protected and provided for in ways that are not financial, that fulfills you because you don't need that in order for your relationship to thrive. You know who you are as a woman and what you bring to the table. He knows who he is and is secure in his manhood and what he brings.
And you know what? It's just like funny. Like a lot of times, like I don't even have to say anything. It's like he knows. Like I could be having heartburn and I'm like, what's wrong? You know, like just by the look on my face, you need this, you like I got you this. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just very into it. Like he takes care of me. Like he does. I don't
Nice.
know.
And you
Like
know
he's
what?
very
You know what, Vi? I think if I was a guy that had an abundance of money to where my bank account superseded or matched hers, I think we would bump heads. I think I came in a time in her life where I was able to fill the holes in her life. If money wasn't one of the holes in her life, you feel what I'm saying? It's trying to find the keys every morning. That's what she need help with. Like,
That's so
so
cute. I love that. Um, B, I want to talk about qualities, right? So we know protectors, providers, and nurturers that comes in different forms. You said that you didn't feel, and I could be mixing your words, but just to paraphrase, Michael, you said that at
yeah,
some point you didn't feel wanted, you didn't feel loved.
yeah.
At what point did you realize that the woman sitting next to you gave you exactly what you thought you would never get? And what was that?
I can't really tell you exactly when it was, but it
Mhm.
really just took some self and life assessing, talking to my friends, seeing what they going through and what they got going on. And then I had to replay in my life and like, yo, let me back up. Hold on. Like, much love to grandma, auntie, you know what I mean? My mother, she struggled with her addiction. My father died when I was young. Outside of my blood, who really been there for me? Who been riding for me? And I had to think like, yo, this young lady been telling me since she was 15, 16 years old that I was the one, and it was just me getting in the way because I didn't believe it. I'm like, man, you gaming. Feel what I'm saying? You probably told that other nigga the same thing. You gaming. But it was because I didn't believe in myself. You feel me? I didn't think, like I said, I didn't think nobody would want me. When my mother had to go to rehab, my grandmother didn't say, well, come down the block and live with me. She was like, well, you want to go live with your aunt in Albany? I barely knew her. Like, so, like I said, I felt unwanted, so I didn't believe her. She kind of always knew and stood on it. So for me, it was just like really just reminiscing and thinking back. And I'm like, yo, she always been solid. Like anytime I needed her, when my mother crashed and they was about to arrest my mother and I called her, she was right on the scene. Talked them out of arresting my mom. Like she just always been there, always been solid. And it was like, yo, I'm bugging. Let me go see if I was bugging. So, and I tried to let her go, right? Because I knew I was on Madden. Like she said, I was an asshole. So I'm like, you know what? She's a wonderful woman. She's going to make somebody a wonderful wife. She's going to be a dope mother. Let me get out the way. Because as long as she has access to me, it's going to be hard for her, right? Because in her head, she already told me she think I'm the one. So I kind of tried to let her go. And she found her way back to me. And I honestly, like, she wasn't even on that type of time. I think she was just bored. I always tease her. I'm like, yo, I think, because she was in Miami, right? You was in Cancun.
I was in Mexico.
You was in Cancun. I was
having
in
a time at that.
Yeah, I was in Atlanta at the Jazz Fest, and she just hit me randomly. I still tease her. I'm like, yo, oh, a nigga must have walked by that looked like me or something, made you hit me up. Little niggas must have had my physique or something out there. But when she hit me up randomly,
going through your mind in Mexico.
You heard her. She was drunk. She was just playing around, doing drunk shit.
I don't know. And you know what? That was like my Stella got her groove back trip. I had been down in the dumps so long after my divorce that like my friends and family were concerned, and it was bad. Like I was in a real dark place. Like I kind of like became withdrawn. I wouldn't talk to people. I wouldn't go outside. And my best friend was like, you know what? We going to Mexico. You're going. I'm going. We're going to have a good time. And I got down there. I was looking good. I was kind of feeling myself. I don't know. I was just in a real Stella type of vibe. So I was like, you know what? Let's see what he doing. So like, so I hit him up.
Oh, shout out to the bestie for getting you to that space.
Yeah.
So you hit him up. You see the message come through. You in Atlanta doing your thing. What
I'm
was
at
your
the Jazz Festival in Atlanta at Piedmont Park at the Jazz Festival.
And you got the message. And was you flattered? Was you surprised? Were you like, man, she playing?
Because of my understanding of karma and energy, part of me was like, she trying to play me. She playing games. I told her, even like upon coming back in my head, I'm like, she might be setting me up just to get me back for all the shit I did to her. But I came because I got to a place in my life where I was willing to accept the penalty for everything I did. So if it is that, I probably deserve it and I just gotta take it. So I was willing to risk it. Like if it is a setup just to get me back and ha in my face and leave me on my, like, I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to take it because I probably deserve it.
This is the kind of petty he thought I was on.
Yeah, right. What that made you think of me? But question for you, because there's this saying, right? There's a constant battle between the heart and mind. One is smart and the other is blind. And as I hear you talk, Michael, I felt like you were having a battle. What you felt and what you thought maybe didn't always align. And sometimes they may have bumped heads. What was it? Was it the thinking that had you believing Bobbie wasn't the one? Was it the feeling that had you like, man, she gonna try to play me? Which one do you think was more in line with the love and respect and honor that she has for you and that made you listen to it?
It was definitely the thoughts, because I think we both can agree that almost from start to finish, any shared time that we had was dope. Anytime, and that's why when she say, oh, in the beginning, she felt like she was in a relationship, that's because, listen, when you was with me, you with me, and there ain't nothing else to talk about. Like, you're my everything in that moment. So our shared time was always dope. It was always cool. Before we ever had any kind of sexual relations, we was that sit on the phone for hours just chopping it up. Like, we did that.
No, you hang up. You hang up.
Yeah, we went through all of that. So
we hang up.
all right, on three. All right, on three, we both gonna hang up.
Yeah,
1, 2, 3. You ain't hang up.
No, I so love that, yo. And I know our time is winding down, and I could literally talk to y'all for another hour and a half.
So,
But I do want to know for y'all, as Bobbie, for your second time marriage, and Michael, it's your first time marriage, but somebody who's known this woman for a long time, and in this point in your time, you made the commitment to be with her. Are there any deal breakers for y'all in this marriage?
deal breakers is a strong word.
What'd you say?
Deal breakers is a strong word. I don't know. Because there's certain things I could say right now, and I'll be like, yeah, if this happened, I'm done. But I don't know if anything is beyond us having a conversation. Like, I don't think there's nothing we can't sit down and talk about and come to a conclusion on what works best for us. And I don't know if there's anything that like, that was, especially for me, because cheating. I did too much.
Yeah, I don't think that there are any deal breakers. I think that we are at a place where like there's no adversity that we can't overcome. Yeah. Like we can work through it. And we both have done a lot. Like we both have done a lot, seen a lot, just in a different place in your life where, you know what I mean? A lot of the things that couples fight over, you know, the money situation, that's really not a thing for us. The trust is not a thing. You know, even like worrying about like outside people infiltrating our relationship, not really a thing. Like,
I love it.
As odd as it may seem, I don't, you know, it's just
like I would
go ahead, Michael.
Yeah, it would really just make me have like I would just like let's say she cheated. Mm-hmm. I would just have questions. Like it wouldn't be like, oh, I'm out. Like I would really want to know like what happened, what turn is it? Are we over? Like was it something we couldn't have talked about? Like it ain't just deal breaker. It ain't just throw all this in the garbage. So I can't even think of something that is enough to outweigh all that we have. Like
love that. And I really
in my life where at one point, you know, I might have been a cheater a time or two. It's just a different feeling. It really is. Like when you're with someone and like before I can think about being with someone else, I'm gonna think about like the disappointment in him. Like if you know what I mean, like I would never want to hurt or disappoint him like that. You know what I mean? I couldn't think of anything that would like any one night or moment that will be worth that.
Yes.
And there was a time where I didn't think that far. It was really about this instant gratification, this excitement, this fun, this thrill, and then I'll go home and worry about home when I get home. So it's just you're just in different spaces in your life.
Yeah.
Nice. Time does that for us. Maturity, involvement, whatever it is. So my last question to y'all was going to be, you know, 3 things you feel like can and will sustain a marriage. And I think I got my answers in hearing y'all talking. Communication. You know, Michael already said we talk about things. Compromise. Going to sit at the little cheeky play in the park, and Bobbie going to his hood and just chilling and being with your man and doing the vacations even if you don't want to. And then I also hear that there's trust there, even though there were times when the trust was broken. Real quick, can each of y'all say what got y'all back to that point of trust when you have reasons in the past to not trust each other?
I guess it's just as corny as it may seem, it's just like a belief in love and like true love. Like, and I think even at the times when our trust was shaken or broken, it was like we were still stumbling and figuring it out and finding it, and we were young, you know what I mean? But when you know, when it's real, you really know, and you can trust that person that you know may have done some untrustworthy things in the past because you see the involvement. You know you've evolved, you know he's evolved, you know your relationship's evolved, and you're just in a different space.
I love it. You got anything to add to that, Michael?
For me, it's a little bit different because despite what she's done, she never really did anything to make me not trust her.
Okay.
So it was me doing stuff to her to make her not trust me, and then her doing little things to get back at me. But even that, like, it got right back to me. So it wasn't like it was some hot, like she wanted me to know, because if not, it ain't a get back, right? If it's secret.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like that's so then when she say, "Oh, you see how petty he felt like I would be," but nah,
No.
like so, yeah, it's easy to trust her, and like she said, for the other way, I really truly believe that she sees the evolution in me. She sees that I understand and learned from the mistakes that I made, and that, like she mentioned, I made the mistakes really like lost in the dark, like with very little guidance, trying to find my way. So of course I broke some things, I knocked some things over, but I figured it out, and the light is on now.
I'm back for another segment. Look, I
Absolutely.
just thought of
Absolutely.
some other things that I wanted to talk about, and y'all pretty impressive to me. I'm dead serious. I
No, we
love the
appreciate
That's
that.
vulnerability.
flattering.
I love the transparency. I love the realness. I didn't know what I was gonna get from this segment, but I love what I got. Thank y'all so much for donating
Thank
some
you for
time to
having us.
Sentimentally Speaking, for sharing your
Absolutely.
story, for being here. Like I said, I'm circling back. I'm definitely
Yeah, just
circling
let us know
back.
when you're ready for a part two. Just hit me. We set up a part two.
We most certainly will. Thank y'all for tuning in to another segment of Sentimentally Speaking. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all chose to be here with us. Peace.
Bye.